IVM.
$100. That's all it takes to begin your journey with Bitcoin and Ethereum. No, really. With CoinSwitch, you can start investing in over 100 cryptocurrencies with just 100 rupees. On top of that, there are zero charges for deposits and withdrawals, so you can trade, buy, sell, however and whenever you want. All of this, plus their extremely intuitive interface, makes CoinSwitch the perfect app for beginners in the crypto space. But don't take my word for it. Just download CoinSwitch for free and try it out for yourself. If you'd like more information on cryptocurrencies, tune into a show about crypto with me, Rohan Joshi, my new adventure on IVM podcasts. CoinSwitch, kuch to badlega.
Here's your smart fact of the day. Did you know that counting both free and paying users, Zoom has 300 million daily meeting participants? An increase of 2,900% since December 31st, 2019, when they had about 10 million daily meeting participants logged on. Wow, Zoom has really benefited from the pandemic, isn't it? But has the Zoom customer experience held up? Let's find out on this episode with Smarter with Sid. Now, let me give you some context for this episode. What I wanted to figure out with you guys was how serendipity plays a wonderful part in teaching a class, and also share something with you on customer experience design, because that was the class that I was teaching just a few days back to my undergraduate class at Flame. It was the most interesting experiment. What I try to do is keep this experience of a customer experience design course interactive, which means that I like to get people to do some work in breakout sessions that you can have on Zoom immediately, as early as the first class itself. So what I wanted to actually teach my class was two key things. One is the mindset that you need to have about how do you build the best kind of customer experience design, the kind of mindset you need to have actually as somebody who's the designer. And it had two aspects to it, as I said. One aspect was to have a beginner's mind, and something that I will cover in a latter day episode. And the second is about teamwork, how you have to cooperate and collaborate with other team members who are all trying to design the same experience. So what I told them, just to keep it easy, because I hadn't taught the class any principle of customer experience since this was the first class, just to give you a bit of a context, was to get them to just improve the Zoom experience, because all of them had experienced Zoom for such a long time. They were giving galis left, right and center to Zoom because they were really missing the in-class experience like all of us are doing. And I broke them out into sessions. I said, okay, here's 10-15 minutes for you. Why don't you try and make the Zoom experience better, right, for every participant? And after those 10-15 minutes were up, I started listening to various beautiful answers from this class. And some guys said, okay, the attendance taking is a bit of a drag because by the time the professor finishes it, there's 6 to 8 minutes gone of the lecture and it's really boring, and you have to keep going back to the participant who has not been able to, log in or log out at the same time. And, the typical Zoom problems that people face, and especially students and teachers face. And it was a very good sort of session. People were giving feedback, and the question that I was asking them was, how did you guys actually decide which idea? Because what I'd asked the group to do was individually think of ideas before getting them into the breakout session. How did you guys decide which idea amongst the group was better and which was the worst? Or ideas which were, kind of combined together, or ideas that were thrown away? And people had a bit of laugh saying this idea was really stupid or this idea was good, and we combined these ideas and the rest of it. And the discussion went on, and then suddenly I got hit by a bit of a brainwave, and I said, okay, so now imagine that if you had to get the best possible suggestions from the breakout session that you had, how would you redesign the Zoom experience? You got it? Let me say that again. So if they had to do the same experiment again, the same breakout session again, but with a job of doing the best possible meeting that they had with the group, okay, how would they do it? How would they allow for the best idea to flourish? How would they allow for an even better idea than the best idea to actually take shape? What needed to change in the Zoom interface? And that's when the class took a very interesting turn. They said, oh, okay, so if we had to design the meeting and the interaction, then I would do this and then I would do that. And I will not get into the details of the solutions because there were so many and they were all so wonderful. But you know what the most important thing that came through was that people came up with a better customer experience for Zoom when they forgot about Zoom and when they focused on the reason why we are using Zoom. And for that breakout session, the reason why people were using Zoom was to have a better collaborative experience to come up with a solution. And this was an unplanned lesson in my class, because what we realized as a class and as the teacher, I was quick to point it out to everybody that maybe it is not about designing the interface, but the reason why we are trying to use the interface in the first place. Now, this is a very common sort of thing, to be honest, for an experienced customer experience designer, because they will know that they have to start off with an objective and they have to look beyond the interface and they have to look at the journey and they have to look at why people are using in the interface in the first place. But when you make the whole thing experiential itself, when you make the whole thing, very active in people's minds by getting them to actually face the problems that they're facing and then try and solve those problems, I think it becomes real. And that's what happened in this wonderful class of mine. What actually worked was every student managing to look beyond the interface and into the reason why people were using the interface. That just makes the whole area of customer experience design extremely outcome focused, extremely not interface focused, and the real meaning and purpose of designing an experience can come through. What a wonderful feeling I had as a teacher, because it was not a planned lesson, but it certainly contributed to the experience of my class. Wow, this is a meta episode, isn't it? Because I was thinking of, talking about Zoom, talking of the customer experience design for Zoom, looked at going beyond that as an experience, designed the whole thing as an experience for the class. My God, I'm ending up confusing myself. But truth be told, if I have to become 1% smarter, okay, I'll use or take away two things from this specific rant of mine. First is allow for serendipity to happen, okay, in any meeting for the best possible solutions. That's what happened with the students. And the second is to actually look beyond the interface if you're trying to improve the experience. Whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a website, whether it's an app, whether it is just a process or a system that you're trying to follow. Forget about trying to improve the thing itself and improve what you're trying to achieve, okay, through the thing. And then suddenly becomes a wonderful experience. I hope you like this diary or episode or whatever you want to call it of mine. If I was the traveling professor and it was the traveling professor's diary, this experience would have been this diary entry. If it is Smarter with Sid and we are getting 1% smarter, it is an episode. And an episode wherein we can learn this magical lesson of designing the interface. No, not really. Designing the experience. And if you like podcasts like these, my friends, just go on to IVM Podcasts and you'll find a lot of good stuff out there. Just download the stuff and you'll enjoy yourselves. And hey, if you like what I'm saying, I do say a lot of things on LinkedIn and Instagram. I'm the traveling professor. Do reach out to me. I don't bite. And until next time then, until next time.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys. Hey, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On the Longest Constitution with Priya, find out what's obscene about obscenity and why artists and writers have been penalized for it. On Cyrus Says, Rochelle Rao joined Cyrus to talk about her amazing career in IPL and her comeback on the Kapil Sharma Show. Srinath Rangamani, design head at Swiggy, joins Kedar and Abhineet on Audio Gyan to take them through his design perspectives. Get all the updates regarding current immigration trends on Know Your Qanun when Amber is joined by Shoshana T. Green and Alexandra Cole, experts from Green and Spiegel. And on The Fighting Goat, Arjun and Somesh talk about the epic MMA fights of the decade, controversies, and the end of Pride FC. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week on the network, Fiat Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Intuit India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Namaste, this is Cyrus Brocha. I am part of the government cancel culture program to remove rubbish off all the different streams available. So what we have is all the collected rubbish we put together on our show. It's called Cyrus Says. It's on IVM Podcast. You have to watch it and listen to it. It's on our app. It's on our website. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Facebook. There are many different ways. Don't bother me and ask me how. You have to find out. We talk to different personalities. Many of them are known. Some are just people we meet downstairs and invite them up for chai. But the point is, it's fun and it's very therapeutic. So please join in and listen to Cyrus Says.